Yo guys, what's going on? It's Arknade here, back with another tutorial. In this video, we're going to be continuing with the tutorial on how to make an FL Studio template, and we're going to be focusing on the mixer channel and the channel rack in this part. Before we get into this video, make sure to check out my Patreon, which is on the screen right now, where you can get access to a download of this FL template. You can sign up to exclusive tunes each month, and you can also sign up to getting feedback from myself. And while you're at it, make sure to check out my Spotify, which is on the page right now. Let's get into the video. So we're just going to organize our DAW to start with. So we don't need the playlist selection at the moment, so we're just going to get rid of that. We don't need this section on the side here, so we're just going to get rid of that. And what we do need is the channel rack, this bit here, which I've just put at the bottom here. And we also need the mixer. So now this is set up, I'm just going to go through some settings adjustments that we need to make. So as you can see at the moment, this is set to wide here. So we're just going to put this to compact, and this will just allow us to be able to see a lot more mixer channels. So up to 80 channels I can see right now. It may be different depending on what screen you've got, but hopefully you'll be able to see up to around 60, 65. And then we're going to have this on, so we want to be able to see this part of the mixer, and the master as well we want to be able to see. And then below we've got the audio channel, and I've just added some instruments here for now. So I've added some drums, some serum for bass, a little vocals.
Oh, baby, a triple!
We've got some instruments as well, and then effects. And to basically to add anything to the channel rack, you just drag it in. So you either drag it in from Splice, if you're using Splice, from the sample area here. If you've got samples, you just drag it onto here into an empty spot there. Or from like a file, so if you're using a file here, drag it in from there. And that's the main way to get things across. And then all I've done is right-clicked, rename, and call it FX4, for example, change the color to green, and accept, and press enter. And there we have it. Right, so let's get into the main chunk of this, the mixer channel. So we're going to start with the drums. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a section for each area. So for me, I use the first 20 channels as drums, and then I'll use the next 10 for bass, the next 5 or so for vocals, and then another 10 for instruments. And then after that, in this section here, this is where the drum bus, the bass bus, the vocal bus, all the buses will go. And this is like the main area of mixing. And then after that, I'll have the effects, because there can often be a lot of effects. And I want to be able to see the buses at all time. And I don't want them to be off the screen down here somewhere, because that's where the main area of my mixing takes place. So let's start with the drums. So we're just going to go from all the way from 1 to 20. And we're going to rename, right-click, rename, and color code each one. So I'm just going to go through that now with you. This is what I personally choose for my drums. It may be different depending on what genre you're doing. So you may want, if you say produce techie house kind of music, it's more focused on drums. So you may want, say, 30 channels for drums. But because I predominantly produce bass line, I only need around 20, I'd say. So I'm just going to rename this kick 1. And I'm going to make it blue and press enter. And I'm just going to keep doing this all the way down to around 15. So kick 2 for layering. And then clap 1. Clap 2. Clap 3. And you can just follow along on your DAW with me now. Clap 4. Snare 1. Snare 2. And then hat 1. Hat 2, hat 3, hat FX, and then extras, so percussion 1, percussion 2, and then we'll just add an extra channel in case you add anything crazy. And once that's done, that's all the drums set up. So obviously, if you want to add more, feel free to go as far as you want. But we're just going to add 15 for now. So now what I can do is, as you can see here, I've got just the basic FL samples set up, and I'm just going to put these into my mixer channel. So you don't want anything to not be going to the mixer channel. So kick 1, kick can go in channel 1 where kick 1 is, clap can go in channel 3 where clap 1 is, hat can go in channel 9, and snare can go in channel 7. So now all these are set up. So if I click this now, it will go through the mixer first and then out to the master, rather than just straight out of the master. So now all these are set up, we want to focus on this section. So this is 16, 17, 18, 19 for me. And I'm going to rename this kick group. And I'm going to do the same for the next one, clap group, snare group, and finally hat group. And I'm going to make these blue. And then finally, for the last mixer, this is going to be the drum reverb. So all the reverb from any of these drums that we're going to use is going to go through this drum reverb selection. And we'll come back to that later on. So now we have all of these set up. We need to set them to go to places, so we need to route them on the mixer channel, because currently it's just going, the kick is just going straight to the master channel, and so is the clap, the hats, and so on. But we want to change that, so we're going to create a drum bus. And remember I said earlier we want it to be on the screen, and I believe we said around 50. Yep, so we're going to rename channel 50 and we're going to call it drum bus. And then we're going to go through and route everything. So the kick 1 and kick 2, we want to send to the kick bus first. So the kick group first, sorry, which you can see here. I'll just make it bigger so you can see that. So we want to send these both to here, as we may be layering kicks. And then once they're here, we want to send them to the drum bus, which in turn will be sent to the master. So let me do that now for you. So kick 1, find where the kick group is, right click, and then click route to this channel only. And we're just going to repeat that for kick 2. And then we're going to find the kick group, right click over here on the drum bus at the bottom here, and we're going to do the same, route to this track only, and find the drum bus, and this is already sending to the master channel, so that's fine, we can leave that as it is. And then if we go to the kick now, and we find the channel rack on the kick on the channel rack, and we click on the sample and play it, can you see that now? So what it's doing is it's playing through channel 1, sending to the kick group, which in turn is sending to the drum bus, and then that drum bus is sending to the master. So if I turn the drum bus off now, we won't be able to hear anything. So you can't hear anything. So this is just a great way to control your drums So say I'm producing a track and suddenly I don't want to hear any drums, I want to hear everything else. Boom, I can just click that and it turns all the drums off. And just like that, you've got no drums. It's perfect. So we're just going to go through now and do the same with all our instruments. And then I'm going to show you the drum reverb at the end. So the clap, we're going to send it to the clap group. Exactly the same as we did with the kick. Then we're going to grab the clap group, send it to the drum bus, and that's that one done. And we're going to do the same with the snare. And the same with the hat. Sorry, let me just send the snare. And the same with the hat. So that's all the groups set up. So all of these up to the hats is now done. They're all being sent to their groups, and then the groups are being sent to the bus. And the extra percussion, because we're not really going to be layering this kind of information, these samples, like we are with the claps and the snares and the kicks, we can just send these directly to the drum bus. I mean, you can add another group if you want with percussion, if you're layering certain types of percussion, but we're just going to keep it simple now and send it directly to the drum bus. And there we go. Now, none of these should be going to the master channel. They should all end up at the drum bus. So now you might be wondering, what's this drum reverb all about? So I'm just going to show you how this works. So I'm going to add just a basic reverb and a basic EQ to take some of the lows out. And let's grab a clap. So currently this has no reverb on it. So what we're going to do is add reverb, but we're not going to add it by directly putting a plugin on the clap. We're going to use the drum reverb channel, and we'll do this for all our instruments. And if you think about it in a way of a drum kit in real life, when you're playing a drum kit in real life, everything on that drum kit has the same reverb. And this basically just reproduces that sound. So everything on this drum kit is going to have the same reverb, and it just makes it all blend together nicely and gets your drums sounding as if they're meant to play together and they're not just random samples put together. So what we're going to do this is find the clap and find the drum bus channel, and we're just going to left click on the bottom here. And then you see this, so this is 0% reverb, and then this is 125% reverb. So let's just have it on the low setting, so you can hear the reverb a little bit, and if we turn it right up, you can hear a lot more reverb. And then you can do this for any area. So say you want it on your snare, just left click on the drum reverb, add how much you want. Same with a hat, and so on. And one quick tip I'll just give you now is be very frugal with it. So use only a little bit of reverb. So you never want too much. Too much is not good. So what I've done there is pretty much everything you need to know. And we're just going to duplicate it on the bass section, the vocal section, the instrument section, and the FX section. And I'm just going to work through this quickly now, and you can follow along with me. So let's take this section here and use it for bass. So bass 1, we'll make it red. Bass 2. Bass 3. Bass 4. Bass 5. Bass 6. Oh, 36. 6. and then finally bass reverb. So it's essentially the same as the drums. So now we can get our serums here and put serum 1 there, the sub here on the sub area, serum 2 as the sub, for example. And then we're going to do exactly the same, send all these to a bass bus, which is going to be 52. Make that red, add that in there, and we're going to send each one directly to the bass bus. I'm just going to right click on my keyboard to make it faster. And then if we wanted to add reverb to one of the basses, again, it's the same. You just click here and adjust. And I use that setting a lot for the basses. It makes them sound a lot better. Now we're just going to repeat this for the vocals. So vocal 1, vocal 2, vocal, oopsie daisy, 3, vocal 4, and then backing vocal 1, backing vocal 2, backing vocal 3, ad libs 1, ad libs 2, and vocal reverb, of course, at the end. And then we're going to add 52 is going to be the vocal bus. And we're going to, of course, send everything to the vocal bus. And then we can attach our vocal to here. And then if we want to add reverb, of course, we do this. And the same for all of them. And now we're going to move on to our instrument section. So we're literally just going to call this instrument 1, make it orange, and repeat this up until the end here. So now that we've added all the instruments in, we want to make an instrument bus and send everything to this channel again. And then we can add our instruments into here. You can obviously make this a bit more complex, so you can call it plucks, chords, things like that. But yeah, I'm just going to keep it simple. Instrument 1 to 9, instrument reverb, and then obviously we can add our reverb to any of the tracks. Like that. Finally, to finish off, we're going to add the FX bus. I'm going to make that green. And then from 55, as far as you want to go, you can add as many effects as you like. So I'm just going to cut here and it'll be done when I come back, just to save a bit of time because we've already added all of them. Hopefully you know how to do it by now. And you can just pause it and add them in yourself. And there we have it. Your mixer channel is now set up and ready for tunes to be produced. So we can, if we muted all these here, and press play on the track, you wouldn't be able to hear everything, because all of these channels are being sent to these buses here, and then these buses are going to the master channel. Now finally, to finish here, there's additional features we can use, and I like to use this for parallel compression and parallel distortion. So what we can do is click this little button here, and it gives us extra channels here. And if we say add parallel distortion, parallel compression here, we can turn these up and it will add it to them. So this is already getting sent to here. So let me rename this parallel compression, and we'll make it blue because we're going to predominantly do it on the drums. And then let's make this parallel distortion and make it blue as well. So now I can add certain plugins to here to compress it and then change the value on these, and the same with the distortion. And then this will get sent here, which will in turn get sent back to the master channel. And this is how you get your drums sounding all right to bang on. I'll go through that in another video though, later down the line, on how to get them sounding sweet. Alright, so that wraps the video up, guys. In the next tutorial, we're going to look at side chaining and how we can get that set up ready on the project template as well. Thank you for watching.